Hi, I'm Actipab, and today I'm going to be doing a sit-down video where I discuss a topic of my choice and I just ramble about it. It's not really well thought out, so apologies for that, I guess. I hope that this video isn't like all over the place. Apologies if it is. I did type out a few things to like keep my thoughts in track, so if you see me like looking over there, that's why I'm doing it. But basically, I'm going to be discussing, is it a bad thing to collect rare dolls? And I'm going to give my thoughts in there. I've been collecting since 2020, so maybe even before. I would say 2020 because that's when I started my doll Instagram, but I was collecting before then. I even had shelves laid out before then. But that is like when I can like started documenting it, I guess. Would be my Instagram. So I feel like for the very few years that I have been collecting, outside of like when I was play collecting, which would have been like Ever After High dolls I was buying, and not fully playing with them, but I was 100% like playing with them, if that makes sense. Anyways, so I'm gonna give my input on the topic, but the topic came to my attention because I got a comment. I'm gonna insert it. I believe they deleted the comment, so I can't see the full comment, if that makes sense, but what I have of it, I'll discuss. Okay, so I'm gonna read it and I'll insert it in, but yeah, it's not the full comment, if that makes sense. For context, this comment was on my video that I did probably at least a year ago. It was a Hannah Montana doll video, and it was called Hannah Montana dolls on my doll wish list part 1. I don't actually know if I ever posted a part 2, to be honest. I definitely have them all on my wish list though. Anyways, here's what the comment reads. I don't know if I'm allowed to say like the whole comment, so if I get in trouble for it, I do apologize. It says, DPMO, you know nothing about these dolls, yet you want all the rare ones. Can I read what the actual word is? Laugh my ass off, you know, and then it went on to say more. Technically it says laugh my ass off. Is that 5 offs? Which I thought is funny. I love when like people like use words like that and then they like, I don't know, make them longer. I don't know. Also, I didn't know that people said DPMO. Don't piss me off. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. But I know people say YPMO. I heard that recently. I was like, I didn't know that's a thing. And listen, somebody commented it and I didn't know that they said DPMO, which I don't know which one's more popular, I guess. Maybe I just thought it was you piss me off. I love that. Okay, so the video is going to be discussing 2 particular topics. This, like, I don't know, this is an interesting discussion that I want to have because I've always kind of put lots of thought into it when it comes to like doll collecting, and I always obviously like I'm always thinking of topics, but I feel like I've talked about this before in the past. So this video is gonna have 2 things, but obviously the main point of this video is going to be, is it a bad thing to collect rare dolls? And number 2, the other point that they made in it is it okay to collect dolls that you know nothing about? Okay, I wanted to bring both of those topics. Obviously somebody commented it, so I'm gonna give my input on, and I thought if I wrote out something, which I guess technically I can't write anything out to it because I can't get their comment fully. I assume they deleted it, but I'm going to be discussing those topics. The first one being, is it okay to collect a doll that you know nothing about? Okay, so if you don't know me or my collecting, one of the things that I love about doll collections and like YouTubers that I follow is I love seeing the variety of dolls. You can see that my displays are always insanely messy. Look at all that. I would like to point out I took photos of dolls, and even though I'm like I'm gonna eventually re-put them up, I don't want to. It's too stressful. Anyways, one of the things that I really enjoy about doll collecting and looking at other people's displays is the variety of dolls, seeing all the different faces that they have, or just the different variety, whether it's dolls like up in the shelf, which are like knockoffs, or inspired by Barbie, because that's a lot up there. There's just something interesting about that, and one of the things that I really want to be able to do in the future, and I've started to do it with certain doll lines, is be able to like pick up a doll and be somewhat knowledgeable on them and be able to like pick them up and know who the doll is. I understand like if it's a new doll that would be really hard, but one of the doll lines that I'm like obsessed over right now and like learning about them, because there's so many companies and just brands that have made the doll, would be like Disney princess dolls, and I want to be able to like pick them up and know like, is it early Disney store, is it like Disney's second face attempt, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that like I'm really starting to do with being able to look at some photos and being like, oh, that was Cinderella made by Mattel, or that's early Disney store, or that's Disney store 2010s, with like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that I want to be able to like look at a doll, and I don't think like I'll ever actually get to that point where I can just pick up any doll and be like, oh, that's this. Ever After High is a little bit of a line that I can do, but like even like Monster High and Bratz that I have like added them to my wish list and studied over them, I like still can't do that. I still pick up a Slumber Party doll and go, this is a sleepover doll. She's in pajamas. Like, I never remember their names, which, like, I know there's a Dead Tired, but I feel like there's another line, and so I'll always just call Monster High, like, Slumber Party dolls Dead Tired. Same thing for Bratz. Like, even though, like, I've really tried, I just can never remember the lines, so I'll just be like, Slumber Party. Ever After High, I like grew up obsessed with, so I feel like I can get them a little bit more, but I also feel that Ever After High, they had like lines to go with it. There was like Spring Unsprung, there was like TV shows, so like I know them, and then the other random lines were just easy, you know, there's only so many other lines that exist. But that is like one thing that I really want to be able to do, is be like knowledgeable on lines. But no matter how hard I try, I'm not. I am not there at that point. And so when I did my Hannah Montana video, I 100%, because obviously the comment is on the Hannah Montana video, so I'm going to probably be talking about Hannah Montana dolls a lot, so sorry if you're not super interested. I'm not knowledgeable on them at all. When I was looking at Hannah Montana dolls, I could not find like a database or like a place that had every single doll. I think Dollect might have them now. Dollect is a database that has a bunch of dolls, lines on it. People put lots of dedicated work into it, but when I was originally making my wish list, don't know, I have a giant wish list, and that's basically like, I always talk about like adding stuff to my wish list. I'm always adding and I'm always looking at dolls, but any doll that I'm even remotely somewhat interested in getting one day, I put on my wish list so that I can be like, oh, says Mattel. Well, here's all of my Mattel dolls, and I can look like if I don't know. But obviously I feel like I'm pretty decently able to pick up a doll and be like, oh, this is this, and then I'll be able to look at my list when I'm out thrifting and be like, oh, this is, I think, from this doll line, and then look and try to find the doll, if that makes sense. Like, that's the whole purpose of it. Obviously you can use like databases that are already there, but there's something about like having my own and then being able to cross them out when I get them, because that's also really exciting to do. But anyways, everywhere, I added all the Hannah Montana dolls because I went onto a Twitter page that somebody had like posted every single Hannah Montana doll that they could find, and I don't know if that has all of them on there. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but that is all the ones that I have put onto my list, and I went through, and I believe that video I ranked them. I feel like, did I say it was a ranking video? But I talked about all the ones that I wanted. Maybe I didn't rank them, but I definitely talked about all the ones that I wanted as I added them to my wish list, because sometimes when I do wish lists and I add stuff to my wish list, I like get like not bored, but like I get tired, so being able to make a video out of it helps me make the list and add it. But I was able to go through and add all the dolls that I wanted onto my wish list, and there's quite a few Hannah Montana dolls that exist. Play Along Toys made them, and so did Mattel. I don't think anyone else did. Play Along, is that the name? Is it Tag Along? Now I'm confused. I don't remember. Was bought by a different company, or was originally named something different, and so I think with Hannah Montana that tripped me up, but it might be a different doll line that I'm thinking of where it had two different names under what it was, but it's the same company. It just really tripped me up when I was going through. I remember that, and I feel like it's Play Along was bought by something else, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, I'm not knowledgeable on Hannah Montana dolls. I don't typically see them thrifting, so I feel like the only way that I'm going to be able to find them, like in my eyes, is like going on eBay and then I'm pretty much just directly looking up a doll, you know, versus other dolls. I'm like, oh, I need to know them when I go thrifting, be able to know Barbies because I'll go thrifting and I see Barbies all the time, if that makes sense. So there's definitely dolls that I prioritize more knowing dolls. Disney was one of the ones. I see them all the time thrifting, not maybe brand new, but some of the newer ones as well are way more common. So I tend to prioritize because like if I'm looking on eBay for like a Hannah Montana doll or any like online site, it'll pretty much directly tell me, or I'll be able to just go, who is this? And then look at my list and figure out who it is, versus like I'm in a store and I'm trying to scroll through my list of dolls that I have. That can be stressful, if that makes sense. Maybe. The reason why I'm ranting and just discussing my list and talking about this is because I wanted to say that I feel like everybody starts out not having any information on a doll. Like when I started collecting Ever After High, all I knew was the books. And I don't even think that you need to know doll media in order to pick up a doll, but that's how I started. Or Barbie, when I started collecting Barbie, the only Barbies that I was familiar with were dolls that I had personally named, and then I learned that some of my dolls were way off for names. Like I had like 3 or 4 summer dolls, not even close to what I named them. But I think that we start off, or at least for me, I started off like lack of knowledge. I didn't even know Barbie had a name outside of the name being Barbie. I just assumed that was her name. Like I didn't know her name was Barbara Millicent Roberts. So like, I don't know. I just think it's crazy that people like comment things like, you know, little to nothing about a doll. And I wanted to give my insight for anybody who also knows very little about dolls. Obviously I try really hard because like I really want to be able to be like, know every single doll. Like when these came out, I was like, I've never seen these in my life. Not came out. When I saw a listing of these dolls, I was like, I've never seen these in my life. I would have never guessed that they were Madame Alexander dolls. Bought them, like was like, I would need these in my life. So like I try to be knowledgeable, but with Hannah Montana I could not. The breaking up, like so distracted. I could probably tell you if it's Play Along or Mattel, and that's it. I don't think that I could depict anything else. Like sometimes people will post dolls. On this group, it's like a doll ID. I think it's Barbie ID, but and sometimes people will post ones. And one time I recently saw a Hannah Montana doll, and I was like, that's Hannah Montana. Don't ask anything else because I don't know. I didn't post that, but I could tell by that, and that was about it. I couldn't tell you which doll it was or anything like that. But I don't think, especially because I collect so many dolls, I don't think that it's a bad thing to not have knowledge on a doll and pick it up. There are many dolls in my collection that I picked up because I was like, wow, this doll looks so pretty, and I had no clue what it was. I was gonna point out, there's a doll in my collection that I still have no clue who she is. She's above this doll, the blue one right here. This one above her, whatever, brown hair. Still don't know who she is. Thought she was so beautiful, got her for $1, not her outfit, nothing like that. No knowledge on her, didn't know who she was. Same for these ones. I bought the whole line and I had no clue who they were. Like when I found them, I was like, what is this? No clue that they were Madame Alexander. Obviously when I like ended up, before I purchased them, because I found them on a listing online, I like looked them up and was like, what is this? I don't know what this doll line is. But like had never heard of them, and I don't think that that's a bad thing to like buy a doll that you don't know about. Obviously I recommend, like, if you're gonna buy a doll, do a little bit of research on it to know what it is and know if it's something that you're actually interested in. But I don't think that it's a bad thing to purchase a doll, especially if it's a good price. Like, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I also have 3 Hannah Montana dolls. None are in their outfits. I have now gone to, I don't purchase any more Hannah Montana dolls unless they're wearing their outfits. So I got one with her blonde hair, one is Hannah, one is Miley, and then one with the flip-flop wig. And then obviously if I found other characters, I would still probably buy that, but I really wanted to have them like that, and now I just need to get their outfits. I need to get dolls in their complete outfits. And like I said, I don't find them, so I have to just buy them online, which AliExpress has some, so eventually maybe one day I will start obsessively going after them, but I have really slowed down when it comes to attempting to purchase dolls, just for personal preferences. And obviously I just thrifted a bunch. Like, I much prefer to thrift dolls than it is like buy in stores or buy online. So I've really kind of slowed down on buying dolls, but I do really like Hannah Montana dolls, and I do kind of want to, like, after like thinking about this video, I was like, should I go and purchase them? But I'm like holding myself back. Okay, so after kind of rambling about that, giving my input that I don't think it's a bad thing to collect a doll that you know nothing about, especially because I have somewhat a little bit of knowledge about them. Do I have a lot? No, but I have some. I wanted to discuss, is it a bad thing to collect rare dolls? I typed into Google, is it a bad thing? And this is what Google AI told me. I gotta log in. Here is what Google AI told me. Ready? No. It is not inherently a bad thing to collect rare dolls. Doll collecting can be a rewarding hobby, bringing joy and sense of accomplishment to collectors. Many people enjoy the aesthetic, historical significance, or sentimental value of dolls, making them a cherished collectible. While some may find it unusual, there's nothing inherently wrong with pursuing a passion for collecting, whether it's a personal enjoyment or an investment. Technically, that doesn't really have anything to do other than the first sentence with collecting a rare doll. I did try to find a Reddit, but I didn't really see anything personally talking about it. I feel like I've talked about in the past my thoughts on people collecting rare dolls, and I always like shade to them, but I want to give my insight when it comes to specifically Hannah Montana dolls. I want to start off by saying I don't think it's a bad thing to collect a rare doll or want a rare doll. People have grails all the time, whether or not they're super expensive or just dolls that are hard to find. I don't think it's a bad thing. One of the ones that I could say has been on my list, and obviously I got when they made a reproduction of her, but it was Felicia. She went for insane amounts of prices. I don't really consider Felicia to be a rare doll rather than like just an expensive doll. Defining rare, I always see people, it's like I'm not going to go too much into it, but I consider rare doll a hard doll to find, not an expensive doll. There's doll listings that I have like saved in my listing, and I have seen them pop up no times. There are dolls out there that I have listings saved and I never see them. One of the ones that I give the best, like a pretty rare doll line I would consider, are Makis, because Makis are produced individually. So like, you, if you don't know the line, you made the dolls. Like, you would go online and like type in and like make your doll, and then they would send it. Not only were they expensive, but they're one of a kind dolls. They're oak, they're custom, they're like, if you find a photo of one of the Makis that you want, the likely chance you will get it is 0. Like, not to be a jerk, but I would consider like that to be rare. Obviously there's other dolls out there that are rare, dolls that are made in like less produced market or other things. I would consider those rare. Other dolls that are like always on eBay that are going for like $1,000, I wouldn't consider that rare. I consider that sought after or expensive, but I don't know if I'd consider it rare. So when it comes to Hannah Montana dolls, I really can't think of many dolls that are rare. Expensive, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I didn't actually look for this video, and I should probably do that, so I'll probably step away to do that. But I would not consider Hannah Montana dolls to be insanely rare. I could think of some off the top of my head, but I don't think that it's a bad thing to want a rare doll. Like I said, I wanted Felicia, and then they made a reproduction. I bought that one because I'd much prefer to have that doll. If I broke her, I wouldn't be super devastated because she's a reproduction. I paid like 25 bucks for her versus a doll that I paid $500 for. What if she breaks? You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a bad thing to want a rare doll. There's dolls in my collection that are, yes, okay, I was gonna say there's dolls in my collection that are worth a decent amount, and I would say very few, but like, there's dolls on my wish list that are like really expensive that I really want. Ones that I can think of off the top of my head is there's some Barbie movie dolls that, did you see my eye twitch? There are dolls on my wish list, Barbie movie dolls, not all the Barbie movie dolls, not half of them, but some of them can be worth a lot of money. I'm thinking particularly, because I was looking at them, the Alina Mermaidia doll, she can go for like a pretty penny, and I want her really badly. And obviously, like, one of the reasons I want her is because I see her in other people's collection. She's just a beautiful doll, but also like, she's a highly collected doll. Like, I feel like people talk about her sometimes in videos that I see or stuff like that. It's like, she's sought after, so like, I'm like, people want her, so I want her. Also, she's just Alina's face sculpt is freaking beautiful. didn't have that one, but I had the rainbow, I don't know what that movie's called, Magic the Rainbow, I feel like it's something like that, doll when I was younger, and absolutely loved her and regret getting rid of her, but beautiful face. So I think, like, obviously, like, there are dolls out there that are, like, highly sought after because they're really good designs, and I don't think that's a bad thing to like those. There's a lot of Bratz dolls that I really want that are, like, the top ones. Like, my top 10 dolls are, like, the top 10 doll lines that people want. Like, the Treasures Bratz line, whatever that one is. They look like little pirate girls. I want that line, and I feel like that's a top 10. Like, I feel like I always see people talk about those dolls, and, like, I don't think that's a bad thing to like dolls other people like. I think, like, the reason why those are such good dolls is because so many people like them. They're such good quality. Like, that's why they make it on a list. When like, a new doll line, like a new Rainbow High series would come out, there would, like, always be, like, one that people always was talking about. Like, yes, there's hype behind it, but I also think, like, the reason why people like that doll is because it's good quality. It looks nice, and I don't think it's a bad thing to like the common doll that people like, you know what I mean? So, like, of course I'm going to like the rare dolls, the expensive ones, because they're good quality. I don't really follow a lot of, like, people that are obsessively talk about Hannah Montana, so to be honest, I didn't know that I liked the most common ones, which is crazy because sometimes I feel I like dolls that people don't always like, and I'm like, oh, so I'm actually kind of excited and happy. Maybe I need to get into the Hannah Montana world, but, like, the fact that I like dolls that other people like is actually not a bad thing, okay? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I like this doll, and then people are like, this is, like, my worst, like, my least favorite doll ever to exist, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Basically, I'm bringing this up because I don't think that it's personally, my own thoughts, I don't think it's a bad thing to like rare dolls. I do think it's a bad thing to pay insane scalper prices or insane prices for a doll. Like I said, I don't buy expensive Bratz dolls. I don't buy insanely expensive dolls. These dolls, I recently have been seeing them go for a lot. Like, I don't know what it is, but I have seen them go for a lot. I paid 150 tops for the whole collection, and I see the reason why, like, I bought them at that price is because I saw, like, some go for like $30-$40, and lately I've been seeing them go for like $60-$70 each. And, like, when I originally was doing the math for it, I was like, oh, like, this one is worth like $30-$40 while the other ones might be worth $20. So, like, I did the math and I was like, I feel like that's a fair price. And, like, now I feel like I keep seeing listings, whether or not people are purchasing them for that price, but, like, I think it's a bad thing if you are, like, spending, unless, like, it's your holy grail and it's the one that completes your collection, but if you were consistently spending like $800 every time you buy a doll, like, I kind of, like, I don't say anything because I don't want to be a mean person. I would never comment on somebody and be like, you spent that much for a doll. But, or even, like, when people are getting the Mean Girls dolls, was, like, kind of like, are you kidding me? You're buying these dolls for that price? Yes, but I would never say that. And I understand, like, that's a doll that you really wanted, and I understand buying it at those prices because your fear of, like, it never going down and, like, being able to get that, like, holy grail that you want, or, like, oh my gosh, I really want this, it's super hyped, and, like, obviously there's a bit of FOMO there, but I do kind of sometimes go, like, why would you buy that for that price? But I don't think it's inherently a bad thing to be interested in the common liked doll, the most liked doll. But I am gonna step away to do Hannah Montana research, okay? Give me a second. First of all, I will be saying that in the start of the video, I said they can't be that expensive. I said that. You can go back and look. I will, and then I was like, maybe I'll go and buy some Hannah Montana dolls. I will not be doing that. I will not be buying, Jesus, they're so expensive. The person was like, you like the expensive ones. I'm now disappointed in myself. It is a very bad thing that I'm interested in the expensive dolls. I keep brushing my hair back because I did not brush my hair today because I did not feel like doing it. So, apologies. Yeah, no, 100% I agree with that person. I know nothing about these dolls, and I know nothing about their pricing, and I'm interested in the expensive ones. Jesus Christ. They're going for, some of them are going for like $200, $300. Oh my god. so far, so I went into sold listings to like actually look at these dolls. So new dolls don't go for a lot, which is perfect for me. This one was not brought up, and I don't think it was in the video, but I will tell you this. One of the dolls, actually the doll lines, we can just say the doll lines, but one of the dolls that I want absolutely so badly, and I will 100% take the you want a expensive doll line, like you want an expensive doll, you're the problem. Not that I would ever pay these prices, but like one of the lines that like I want desperately bad every time I see them like in somebody's collection, I'm like, I want to be you, is the Disney VIP. I just saw a sold listing for $600 for the Disney VIP Hannah Montana doll, and I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, she's in box and she's so beautiful. If you think she's worth $600, 100% fair. Go and get her. I don't care. But I want her so bad. Yeah, 100%. That doesn't count because I don't think I actually put that on my Hannah Montana wish list. But looking at these listings, okay, there was one sold for $22, but I assume that was not like one of my higher looking dolls. But I'm seeing a lot of the sold listings, so I'm seeing like she's not, her high expensive ones aren't selling super voluminously well. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Also, that's a cute little playset, and it was only $40. Well, 40 with shipping, it was 20, but then like 30. Okay, wait, that's 50. Sorry, I can't do math, my goodness. Okay, I want to just point out as I'm looking, some of the ones that I remember like actually really liking are not super expensive. The Hannah Montana movie 10-inch classic doll, Disney Store 2010, says new in box, sold for $40, 30 plus 10 shipping, which is still a lot. Like I wouldn't pay that price, but like not that expensive, not to be mean. But some of them are insanely expensive. Like Miley in her basic outfit, which is Jax made them? Jakks Pacific? See, that is the one. Jakks Pacific bought out Play Along. So sometimes when they were first being made, they said Play Along, right? And then it was Jakks Pacific though. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe by the time they were making Hannah Montana dolls, it was still owned, like Jakks Pacific had owned the rights. They just used the Play Along company's name. But there was a Hannah Montana. It says Rare Disney Hannah Montana. It's Miley. She possibly sings. I don't know if she actually sings. She's such like a basic. She's so cute though. For $98. They're expensive. I would like to just point out that I apologize for saying I didn't think they were like that expensive. Like I didn't think that they would be $100, but some of them are. Yeah, one of the ones that I wanted, it says Hannah Montana, the movie, Hannah singing Let's Get Crazy, Rare, new in box, $272 is their price point. And obviously, like, just because somebody sets a price at that point doesn't mean that they're going to sell for that. So, like, I 100% did want all the Rare dolls. Am I paying for them? Am I buying them? No. I'm trying to be knowledgeable on them. When I added them to my wish list, it's like in the future I hope to one day accumulate them. I'm not surprised I don't find them in thrift stores anymore. I'm like, I never see them. Why not? Maybe because they go for like a freaking paycheck. Jesus. My gosh. And people are buying some of these. Oh my gosh. I can't show you. Okay. There's a Hannah. It looks like a lot of the movie dolls that they made are really expensive. She's in just a cute, simple dress. $249. You have opened, the person who commented this, you've opened my eyes to, my god, they're expensive as heck. Some of them are actually, like, some of, like, the lower prices, under $50. Yeah, I know, I have to be, like, under $50 because they're not that cheap, are super cute, but I don't remember, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look back at the video to see which ones I was really favoring, but some of them are, like, I really like them and I remember really liking them, but it's like breaking my heart. I'm being destroyed. So as I scrolled through eBay to look at all the dolls and be surprised at the price point, I want to give some more thoughts because instead of just staring at a screen and you watching me stare at a screen, I'll talk. Okay. I might do another Hannah Montana video because I definitely was looking at dolls and I'm like, I don't think you are on my wish list. So I do need to add all these more really expensive dolls. I was going to say, like, when I was first coming up with this, that I was thinking the Ashton Drake dolls. Is that what they're called? Where did it go? Ashton Drake. Yeah. would be like the expensive ones, which like I'm looking at a Hannah listing for Ashton Drake doll, and she's $149.99 plus $12.30 shipping. So like still like insane for a doll. I don't know how much they actually went for. Don't like judge me on that. But that was like one of the ones I was like probably like the most expensive that they have, and like that's not that I mean, compared to some of the others, I was seeing $300 price points. Obviously I understand Disney VIP, the one that I had brought up, is going to be expensive. Like I always know that was an expensive line. I have looked at those dolls. They are a saved listing. I don't know if I'd consider those rare. I don't know. I feel like I see them enough, but I don't know. Anyways, nonetheless, I assumed Ashton Drake would, because like when I saw those dolls, I was like, I'm pretty sure they retailed for like a decent penny. But they were not the highest price, which is disappointing. But I'm kind of thinking of like going back and seeing if I'm missing any Hannah dolls, and then also checking out Dollect to see if I'm missing, if they have added any dolls that I don't have on my wish list, because I feel like I didn't recognize some of those, but we'll double check one day. But anyways, I'm gonna kind of close off here and give my thoughts. I don't think that it is a bad thing or like harmful for other collectors to have or want rare dolls and to not know anything about those rare dolls that you want. Obviously, I had no clue on their price point. Certain dolls, there are dolls that I won't look at price points. I try not to, because I don't want to know how much they go for. There are certain dolls that I will. Be Goth is one of them. I know that they're expensive, and I actively look at price points to see if they drop. And with the Be Goth dolls coming out, or the possible like Kickstarter that they did not go down in price, and that's not great. But there are other doll lines that I just don't like. I'm not super invested in or super obsessed with at the moment, so I don't know a lot about them. I want Hannah Montana dolls. I loved the show growing up, but there are other doll lines that I prioritize more in my collection, so I'm not super knowledgeable on every single doll that I own or every single doll that I want. I add them to my list because I know that they are something that I would love to accumulate into my collection one day, whether or not I thrift it or go onto eBay and purchase a doll. I don't think it's a bad thing to want a doll that expensive. Obviously, I will do everything in my power not to have to pay those prices. I'll wait it out. I will thrift. I will go on Facebook Market page. I will do other things if I really want a doll. But I think being negative and being mean to other people about liking a rare or expensive doll is just weird. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that it's something that has to be like shunned for. There's so many people out there that like want their grail dolls or are insane. I'll give you an example of a rare doll that I would love to have one day. Do I think I'll ever get it? No, but it's two. It's the Ever After High Comic-Con dolls, the cedar wood. When I saw her in box, like that would be a doll that I wouldn't want to take out of box because I think her box is just so good. And then Cerise, which I feel like I would want out of box because I would want her out of box, but I would never take her out of box. Like, those two are insanely rare dolls, and I want them so desperately bad. I don't actually, no, I think they're rare. They only made so many of them, but they're just also expensive. I don't know anything about Hannah Montana dolls if we have already seen that from this video. I don't know if these dolls are rare or if the prices are accurate. Like, do they actually go for that? Obviously, I saw some eBay, but I didn't see that many insanely high prices for being sold. I saw a lot of like lower prices being sold, whether or not people are just not super interested in them, so they're not buying the insanely high prices. But nonetheless, we can tell by the video. I don't know much about them. But I don't think that it's a bad thing to want the dolls. Do you know what I mean? And I think like being negative and being like, you want this doll because it's rare, I didn't know that they were that expensive, and I regret having them on my list. But after looking at the eBay things and being like, I don't think I have that doll on my list, I want to go add them on. And that's rude of you for making me look to know that there are dolls that aren't on my list and that I'm gonna have to pay a pretty penny to get them. one day I will get them because I have talked about my displays that I want, and I want to have Disney Channel dolls next to each other, next to this. I actually thought, sidetrack, I thought that the Mattel Hannah Montana dolls would be expensive, but I didn't see them. So now, give me a second. Okay, I looked. I did have to look to see if Mattel made them. I'm pretty sure Mattel makes some of the Disney, or some of the Hannah Montana dolls, but I really didn't see that many listings, and I didn't see them being that expensive. I was going to say, I just always assumed that Mattel's would be more expensive, but it looks like Play Along is more expensive, but I also didn't see that many listings of Mattel's, so don't judge. I saw a few, but then also, like, you could be like, that Hannah Montana doll that was Disney VIP was Mattel. Mattel made those dolls. I want them so bad. Anyways, nonetheless, I'm gonna end it out here. If you're collecting and you have little to no knowledge on a doll, and you really would like a rare doll, I don't think it's a bad thing, okay? Make your list, make whatever you want. That's just kind of my insight. That's how I collect. I look at dolls and I go, wow, that doll looks pretty, and I try not to think about how expensive they are. Two dolls that I always really wanted, Glitter and Shine. I don't remember. It's Shimmer, Glitter, and Shine. Those are the dolls. But I don't have the purple one. I have the two pink dolls. Wanted them so badly. The Shine can go for an insane price. And I recently got her for an insanely good price with the other pink girl. I really need to know their names. I haven't fixed them up yet. I just keep like putting it off because they have glitter on their body and I'm afraid. But nonetheless, I got them for a good price. So like, I believe that if there is a doll out there that you don't want to pay a pretty penny for, hold off, and one day you will get the doll that you want. But that's all that I have for the video. Just kind of my thoughts. Be nice out there. Be nice to people, okay? Just because they're not as knowledgeable as you doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. Some of us don't want to know if the dolls that they want are going to be impossible to add to their collection. But thank you for bringing it to my attention that I need to add more Hannah Montana dolls to my collection. Maybe I'll make another one and put the new dolls that are like $100 on eBay. I'll put them at the top of my list. Anyways, I'm Actua. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you know where to get some cheap Hannah Montana dolls, please let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.